Hello everyone, I'm Luis Fernando Perez, and I'm here today to discuss a very interesting topic in epidemiology, selection bias. What is it and how can we avoid it or identify it? So, what is selection bias? So, how do the epidemiologists define selection bias? It is an error due to the systematic differences in characteristics between those who take part in the study and those who do not. This is an error that invalidates conclusions and generalizations from studies, and this is a very common problem in epidemiology. The consequences are huge. The exaggerated and biased results can trigger their premature dissemination, and this can lead to physicians making incorrect treatment decisions. So, how can I make my sample look like my target population? Think about it. A representative sample is needed. Let me give you an example. I'm a rheumatologist, and I want to know if fertility is affected in men with arthritis. So, what should I do? Should I just call some patients and ask them how many biological children do they have? Who should I call? When should I call? If I conduct a retrospective study, I expect a high non-response. This can lead to non-response bias. But in a prospective study, I can also expect loss to follow-up. How can we solve this problem? Identifying selection bias should be done before writing a protocol, but also when you're reading an article. Okay, let's do this. Let's select patients using rigorous criteria to avoid confounding results. These patients should originate from the same target general population, and with a well-designed prospective study, we might avoid selection bias as an outcome is unknown at the time of enrollment. Bias is less problematic in core studies, but it still can happen. So for example, in my case, maybe more childless men can drop out compared to men with children. This is selection bias. The decision whether to take part or not in a cross-sectional study is not random. For example, men who drink might be less likely to participate. To tackle this problem, we must achieve a high response rate. I know now that I have to include as many people as possible to talk about bias in my report. Also, I need to define my groups and to choose the right control group. If we identify and prevent selection bias, we can use both study designs. But for the readers, you should also be able to identify bias while you're reading an article. And how should we do this? Yes, we have to be critical. Ask the important questions. Is this sample representative of the population that I'm studying? Selection bias occurs when subjects studied are not representative of the target population. This may result in a biased estimate of the association between exposure and disease. Selection bias is common, but it is up to us to make it less common. Thank you.